All right, cool. Yeah, so yeah, Dee and I work together at Campus Philly. And I was just mentioning, seeing her blossom has been wonderful. She is really involved with helping, organizations, people, nonprofits find themselves and make their space online known, right? So a wonderful strategist that can help us here at CME learn how whether you're online and that's what you want to do, to push your brand, or if you are a singer, plug Aponte, um, is making like how you can let folks know who you are, because again, um, your platform is where you can stand on and let folks know what you stand for as well. So I'm wonderful. It's wonderful to have Debora on with us today, and I will make you a co-host.
Okay, I think I can share my screen. Oh wait, it says, yeah, you do need to
There
make
you
me a
go.
host. Okay, I'm a co-host now. All right. Okay. I never know how to work these things, but here we go. Cool. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I'm going to take it into presentation mode real quick. All right, this works for y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. Awesome. I'm so excited to be here today. This presentation is called Turning Social into Stacks. I really love social media as a way to connect to people, talk to friends, and do a lot of personal things. But a lot of people, don't recognize the business proposition that social media can have. And it can really help you make money. My entire business is literally on social media. I make money as a social strategist, but I also get clients through my social media. So this is just a few tips and tricks, take them as if you want to, on how to like essentially turn your social media into a platform, a media platform that you can use to drive business for yourself. Now, Corey gave a really, really beautiful introduction of myself, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I do. I'm a freelance digital strategist, so that basically means I don't have a boss. I have 10 bosses. But, I just pretty much work on my own. As Corey said, we work together at a different nonprofit organization. Then I left for a little while, came back to Philly. When I came back to Philly, I just decided to kind of go at it on my own. And since then, my position has changed. But I really do enjoy working with small businesses and nonprofits. I would say something I really focus on is helping organizations, helping people utilize the resources that they currently have, so that they don't spread themselves thin. Now, when we think of like social media, I think the word media is very key because it really is a media platform. And back in the day, media used to be newspapers, televisions, things like that, where entire teams would come together to create content. And now we expect one single person to create the content, shoot the content, run the business, do the bookkeeping, all of these things. And that can be a lot. So what I really focus on with what I'm going to focus on today and what I focus on with all my clients is really just like, how can you utilize what you currently have to make the most of your online presence? So I never really recommend, if you are a small pastry shop, I'm never going to recommend to you that you create an entire television show because you don't have the capacity to do that. Just like now, you guys might be starting off a business. Maybe you're just curious about how you can use these tips in the future. I'm not going to give you recommendations that would require a full team. I'm going to give you recommendations that you could go on your Instagram right now and do tonight to make a difference. But before we begin, I would love to learn a little bit more about you guys. So I'm going to go, I guess I'll go down I can't see anyone's name. So you're just going to have to raise your hand or just shout out your name. But shout out your name, what you're hoping to learn today and why, and what generally are your interests.
Yeah, so can I go first?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, for you, those of you who don't know, which pretty much
it's just me.
It should be just you. Yeah, so so I'm Chris. I'm currently attending a community college for film. what I'm hoping to get out of this is to just learn specifically, how you can grow a bit business on social media, like uh, alone. And yeah, so I'm just in the film. So yeah, so I was hoping to learn, how to get some of my work on there. Yeah, on the gram. If we're being specific. Yeah, and the other one was why or something.
Yeah, I think you explain why. What are some of your interests?
Oh, so some of my interests are more like creative. So in terms of that, like yeah, like I said, in terms of like art, there's a certain style of art that I like. Sometimes it's like a bunch of colors mixed together and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think to gather that is like, I just like when a bunch of things, like single things, just come to get together and just form this one big magnificent piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys get that.
Yeah, love that. Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with, I like how when people, with specific talents and interests, they all collab and make something great.
I love that too, yo. That's one of my favorite things. I love it when people come together and make something incredible for sure. Thank you, Chris. I don't know who wants to share next. Well, Ponte, I remember your name, so I'll have you go next.
Okay, hello. My name is Aponte. I'm currently at Community College of Philadelphia, studying public health. Mm-hmm. But on the outside of that, I go by Raquel, which is my middle name as an artist, as a singer. And social media has definitely been a big help. I've been able to network with different other artists and work. So I do hope to be able to learn more and how to, I guess, input myself more, not only, like you said, on the emotional side, but on the business side. I'm not new to dealing with a lot of things. I'm not too new to dealing with a lot of things, trying to put myself out there on social media. Before I became an artist completely and started going into singing, I was already learning how to do editing and end up in the art community. And that's a lot of back and forth, trying to put yourself out there, trying to make sure your content is getting to the people you want to get it to. So my interest is mostly between music and art.
Which that's incredible. Love it. Both of those things can make money. So yeah. That's dope. All right, we got one person left. I didn't catch your name the first time around. What is it?
We got Marky and Kadir joined us.
Oh, Marky. Okay, I didn't even see. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, we could just, whoever wants to shout out. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. My name is Marky Marshall. I'm a communications major. I'm not on any platforms of social media because at the high school I was going through some stuff like socially, and I was like, yo, these people don't deserve to see me glow up. Like I'm deleting all this, and then we're gonna come up, and then we're gonna start another job. But then I was like, damn, like I'd rather promote something on social media. And it's just like I had so many ideas. It's just like when I was on social media, I feel like my content was too, I'm not gonna say, I don't think it's too such thing as too good, but like my content was great and it was unappreciated. They don't appreciate the art.
And, oh man, yeah.
And I was like, I'm not even verified. What is going on? But I understand. I don't got no ink like that. But I mean, I'm gonna have to give the people what they want for now. And I was like, I guess you'll help me out with figuring out what these people like and what they, without acting crazy or out of my character, and still thrive.
Yeah. I think it's all about authenticity for sure. That's what I tell all my clients is like, if you're not authentic, people will smell through that. So I love that your head's in that space anyway. And I also have to say, I know so many people who have like run Instagram accounts that have 20,000, 100,000, 300,000 followers, but do not have a personal Instagram account. So you can have an Instagram account for your business and, you know, use that to make money and only be on there to post and engage with people, and then, you know, be off of it. So there's no need for you to like, you don't have to have a personal account just because you're using your Instagram to run your business. Yeah. All right. And I think we have Kadir. I don't know how to work this presentation, so sorry if you see me flip back and forth, but yeah, we have Kadir. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello?
Say, yeah.
Yeah, I joined up a little late. What exactly am I introducing?
So it's at the bottom of the screen. So just say your name, what you're hoping to learn today and why, and what your interests are.
All right. So hello, my name is Kadir Crawford. I'm at CCP doing computer science. I heard we was talking about social medias. I'm on Instagram and I got a Twitch, you know, to stream games and stuff. But I really haven't been using it much like that, but I want to use it in the future.
Yeah, yo, you can make bank.
That's for hobbies. I want to get into making music, not like rap songs, just like instrumentals and beats, stuff like that. And I like, you know, enjoy playing the game, you know.
Bro, me too, bro. Yo, there's money in those stock, like those stock sounds, or like, you know, stock and, you know.
Hey, yo, bro, if you really trying to link, then we can link. I'm Marquis, by the way.
Look, I love this connection happening, yo. Yeah, send Marquis a message on the Zoom, yo. But yeah, there's so many. You want to be a producer? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, cool. Well, you can totally promote your beats on social media as well. So I love that you guys are all artists. You all are art-minded. This is cool because I would say I'm in the middle of the two. Like, I really am like art-minded. Like I have no hair. People think I'm a singer, but I'm also like very much business-minded. You know what I mean? So I think it's nice to have a good balance. Before I go into kind of talking about social media, I just want to do a quick overview of what digital marketing is, because it's the work that I do. So basically, digital marketing is using social media, search engines, websites, whatever lives on the internet, which nowadays is starting to be everything, to reach consumers. So this is super important to know, because if, you know, what's the first thing you do before you buy something? Even if you plan to buy it in the store, you probably look it up online, do research on it. Same thing goes with service-based things, you know, before you bring a plumber into your house, you're gonna at least check their Yelp thing. All of that is digital marketing. And the good news about that is that you control what that looks like. You know, obviously there's, you know, big tech is really big and that's a different conversation, but you essentially get to control what's on the internet. So why not control it to use it for your benefit, to get consumers in your wheelhouse and to just make a narrative that works for you. So we're gonna do, this is gonna be such a, like, honestly, if I were to go into each one of these things could be an hour-long presentation in and of itself. But these are the the three things I should say, that I think, you know, if you come out of these things benefiting from this, I will be a happy person. So it's knowing who your audience is, controlling what your content pillar is, and owning who you are on the internet. After that, I'll give you a couple of resources and then we'll leave some time at the end for questions. So does that sound good? And I love the laid back. I don't want to just like talk at you guys. So, you know, mute off, you know, if you want to, like, feel free to jump in whenever you want to. If there's something you need like further explanation for, please let me know. I'm still not 100% used to giving presentations on the internet, so I love getting feedback. Okay, cool. So know your audience. Have you ever heard of the phrase of like, your audience? Like, who is your audience? Like, have you guys ever thought about who your audience is before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your audience now? Aunts and uncles, or do you have a little bit of more of an audience?
I have it's a little spread out for me. It can be friends. It can be people that just discovered me. It can be people that I've known from the art community come over. It's a mixture of a lot of stuff, a lot of people. So it's like,
Panya. I seen them songs you were making.
Oh, you
seen them songs.
Oh Lord, dear.
That's amazing. So yeah, like knowing your audience is a huge thing, you know, just even knowing that, you know, it's people who just discovered you. The reason why this is so important is because when you're on social media, you're talking. And if you don't know who you're talking to, then what is that going to do for anyone? So you could be saying all these things and feeling like they're incredible and they're great, but if it's not resonating with the audience, then kind of what's the point? So I think it's always important to start off knowing your audience. But before we even go further, we're going to be doing a couple of activities. We'll be doing 3 activities during this time, but I want you to think of a brand. It could be your own brand. You know, I would encourage you to choose your own brand, or if you want to choose like, you know, a brand that's not yours, that's totally fine. It'll still work. But just think of a brand right now and have it in mind. Does everybody know, like, yeah, you guys know what a brand is, right? Essentially a company or an organization. Yeah. Cool. So keep that in mind. Now, to kind of know your audience, you really want to be able to keep a couple of things like in mind, or ask yourself, I guess, a couple of questions. But having a target audience allows you to reach specific people. These are the people who are either like most likely to kind of engage with you, interact with you, all those things. I think a couple of years ago with social media, we used to think like, I need the most followers. If I don't have 1 million followers, then what's the point? But now, and what I like to really encourage people to remember is that you don't need a ton of followers. You just need followers who are interested in what you're saying and engaged with what you're saying. So again, if we don't know our audience, then how can we know if they're interested? How can we know if they're engaged? We don't even know who they are. So I want you to focus, instead of focusing on reaching as many people as possible, I want you to focus a little bit more on like thinking about who you already have and how you can get them really excited about what you're creating. Because ultimately that's what's really helpful. And now you might be at a point where you really don't know who your audience is. Maybe you're just starting, maybe you've had an Instagram for a while and you're just like, I don't know. I just had this Instagram and I never thought about using it in a business sense. These are a few things that will help you like understand who your audience is. I think one, figuring out who your existing customers are, who your existing audience is. So feel free to go through your followers, scroll through, like, you know, you're never going to really know every single thing about them, but there's, you know, just by scrolling through your followers, you can kind of get a general idea, like, okay, a lot of my followers are younger, a lot of them are older. Instagram does provide insights if you have a business account. And I would, you know, if you're planning on using Instagram for business, upgrade to a business account. It literally just is a push of a button to be able to do that. But you can just scroll through if you don't have a business account and just get a general idea, like, are they young? Are they old? Is it mainly family? Is it friends? And this will give you a better idea of like learning how you can talk to them. I think in general, like you can also use listening, what we call social listening. And I'm going to probably say this a lot of times, but social media is also a lot of copying other people's stuff, you know, in a sense, and looking to other people. So, you know, we live in a remix culture where basically like everything is like chopped and screwed, but you can use that to your advantage. So if there's someone who is really, you know, let's say you're a singer and you don't have to like compare yourself to someone who's a huge singer, but if there's a local Philly artist that you really enjoy and you really like the way they're connecting to their audience, like look at their audience, see the way they're speaking to their audience, the composition of their audience, and start to mold your brand. I didn't say copy but start to mold your brand to what they're doing. Just take some key parts and, you know, mold it to whatever you feel, and, you know, keep that authenticity, because that's what we're all about, is keeping it real. And then also understand what they want. I think for me, social media is all about value. I think so often we think that like we should be taking from our audience in a sense, like, you know, they give us likes, they give us comments, they give us followers, they give us clout, you know, but really we need to be asking them what they want and what we could give to them. And you can literally do that by, you know, I've seen Instagram influencers do polls on their Instagram stories, like, hey, what would you like to see from me? More behind the scenes content? Would you like to see more of a process of what it takes to make a beat, Kadir? Would you like to see, you know, like more of me hanging out with my friends. Some people are into that, you know, I don't judge. But, you know, literally ask your audience. Like, they're right there. You can have a conversation with them. Okay. Most of the time, that helps you get better in the algorithm anyway. So why not have a conversation with them to know what you could provide to them to provide value?
There's like giving your audience what they want always, like, is that always helpful?
I don't think so, because you're not going to please everyone, you know, but it might help you because, you know, again, like I said, we used to have entire teams working on a singular newspaper that would only come out once a week. And now we're posting every day. So I think that one, like, you're never going to always give them what they want. And I mean, this is kind of a different conversation, but my theory on social media is that every post doesn't need a slap. You need to actually have a balance between posts that really slap and other posts as well. And we'll actually get into that with content pillars. But yeah, I think that when you're constantly producing content, you get burned out. And if you're like, you know, like, damn, I haven't posted in a week, I don't even know what I should post. Just ask your audience what you should post, and that might be helpful.
Yeah, I only asked you that because I used to try to do that too.
Yeah.
And it's just like, sometimes I'm like, I don't like doing that.
I feel that, yo. I mean, do you? At the end of the day, it's about authenticity. But I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna be super, like, this is what I stand in because it's what my business is built on. You have to provide value for your audience. So it's not just about you. It's also about what they want and what you can give to them. But there's a difference between providing value and letting them dictate, you know, what you're doing. You know, like, I don't really care about what you say about me, but I care about giving you something. And that's like two separate things, you know? Okay. I hope that helps. So, okay, let's watch this video. Oops. If I can figure out how to watch it. Okay. We're gonna watch this video real quick. And it's just a quick video. And then I want us to discuss a little bit, like, what you think of it, and yeah, essentially. Can you guys see? Basically, this is open, right? Okay, cool. Thanks. Let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
I don't hear nothing.
No. I don't know how to work.
What we usually do is, can you post the link in the chat?
Yeah. I'll post the link in the chat, and then we can. Okay, great.
Yeah, you don't have to, like, no one has to leave. I see someone else just joined. Mike, what's up, Mike? Yeah, you don't have to leave. Just click the link in the chat, and then we'll come back in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll come back in 2 minutes once it's done.
That got me all hype.
I know, right? It's a good one. I mean, Nike's ads are so good. I could have chosen one of any.
Now that was an ad.
Right?
That was a wonderful ad, though.
Okay, let me see if I can. I don't know how I got kicked out of my own. Has everyone watched it?
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, I think so too. It was a good one. Okay. Okay, now I'm screen sharing again. So let's talk a little bit, okay? So what is Nike advertising? I know that seems like a silly question, but it's not like a commercial where, like a cereal commercial where they're saying this is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So what are they selling? If they're not selling a specific shoe, what are they selling?
They advertising women in sports, women empowerment.
Definitely. That was perfect. And also that kind of like do it all mentality, like that energy of like, you can get it done. That's essentially their brand. Just do it. So what is essentially the story that they're trying to sell?
I think in specific, but general terms, that woman or woman identifying folk who do quote unquote, crazy things often, are told to be less or to quiet down or to, hide themselves or all these things that, denigrate women. So I think they're trying to sell the fact that, you can, compete against men and win. You can, be angry on screen and not get fined, unlike men. You can do these things and you should.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's real. That's really the story. Just like you can and you should. And it's also letting people know, like, by sending that, they're essentially telling people like, yo, like rethink your narrative around these things, which is really incredible. So with those two things in mind, what type of person are they selling to? Because at the end of the day, it could make you feel emotional, but it's still a commercial. So what type of person are they selling to?
I feel like it's meant for women, but I feel like it's for everybody. You know what I mean? Like you said, let them know. But at the same time, I think it was made, to empower women. Give them a little confidence boost.
So what are some like adjectives we would use to, I guess, describe that person in a sense? Think of it that way a little bit. Like, is the type of person who would watch this commercial someone who is like, just looking for something convenient, or are they looking for something else?
I think it'd be somebody that's like dedicated to their work.
Dedicated. I love that word. Anyone else? I think someone who's a go-getter, someone who lives a really active lifestyle, someone who maybe is a little younger, right? Because that might not resonate with your grandfather, who thinks women should be in the kitchen, So those are all things, descriptors we can use to kind of create what we call a persona, So when we think of the person who would watch this commercial and really like mess with it, like we know they have these certain qualities. Dedicated, like you said, maybe a little younger, someone who lives an active lifestyle, someone who maybe has a little bit more of an open mindset. These are all things Nike knows exactly what they're doing when they create something like this, even though in a sense, sometimes the stuff they do is risky, but in a sense, they're here to make money. So they know exactly who they're talking to when they create commercials like this. So keeping that in mind, this is a lot and I'll simplify it for you, but keeping that in mind, we like to do these things in marketing where we essentially create a persona. So it's just a fake person who falls under your ideal kind of like audience type. And usually we create multiple personas, but today we'll only focus on one. But really the idea of this is that this person essentially like helps you. This person kind of helps drive the narrative that you're going to start speaking to your audience. So I'm going to take an example of this. This is an actual persona that I created for an ice cream shop in Philadelphia. But that just goes to show that, like, you know, whether you're just starting out or whether you have a ton of followers, it's always good to check in and create these personas. So, and I made a whole narrative around them. Like, that's how dedicated, you know, we're going to do a really simple one, but I want you to later on really like extrapolate on this and like create a larger narrative around multiple personas. But, you know, it reads, meet Jess and Mike, a couple living in Fishtown. They have a large range of friends in the neighborhood and across the city, but they make sure they all get together for a treat. So right then and there, you kind of know who they are, but I go into it even more. They're between the ages of 23 and 38. They live in, this type of person lives in Fishtown, but they can also live in South Philly. They also live in New Jersey. They also live in Northern Liberties. You can kind of get the idea of the type of person this is. They like fashion, music, travel, and rock climbing, technology, dogs, pets, a good cup of coffee. They sometimes plan on going days in advance. Maybe this is their date night, you know, maybe this is just something that they like to do on Wednesday nights. They have money to treat themselves because, you know, it's not a cheap ice cream shop. It's kind of a bougie ice cream shop. And then they're either going to come in on a date or with friends. You know, it's something they do to enjoy themselves. They really believe in high quality products, sustainability, local food. And this is how they figure out whether or not they should go to some place. They go on Instagram, they go on Snapchat, Food Booze, which is a food blog. And they also just trust their friends, but they're the type of person to do research online before they go into a place. So do you guys have any questions about Jess and Mike? You know, what a persona is? You're good?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to take 5 minutes. It's 4:40 now. So we'll stop it at 4:45. This doesn't need to be anything wild, but I would love to see you guys create a persona for your brand or the brand that you have in mind. And just, it can have a few points to it. It doesn't need to be anything major. Something we like to always focus on is age and location, but personal interest is always great too. So just write their name, who they are, their age, and why, you know, and, you know, just write who they are, essentially, a couple of points about them.
That's a question.
Yeah, of course.
Is this a target audience or is this our current audience?
So let's say that's a great question. Let's say your target audience,
cool.
Who you would like to reach.
Mm-hmm. Cool, thank you.
Thanks for asking that. I meant to actually put current here, so imagine. But let's talk big picture. Like, let's talk about who you would like to reach.
Oh, you wrote it. My fault. I should have read.
No, it's okay. I messed up, actually. You were right in asking that. But okay, cool. So we'll end the clock in like 5 minutes. Should I put on music or something? I don't know. No, we'll just sit in silence. That's cool too.
Wait, should we put all this in the chat? Hello?
Could you repeat the question?
Should we put all this in the chat or just write this down?
Actually, put it in the chat. That's a great idea. Could you put it in the chat? That way I could read them out.
Before we go silent, I'm sorry, I got kind of lost. So we're just writing out the persona, the fictional sketch of it. So do I have to like write a prompt too for it and then write the stuff?
No, you don't have to write a prompt. This is just super simple. Write their name and then 3 characteristics about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, so they have to be real or can we just make them up?
You can make it up. It's better if it's fake.
Okay.
Because this is your ideal. Who do you want to be looking at your stuff? Like, what type of person do you want to be looking at your stuff? And think about it, you know, obviously it's easy to say like a music executive, but think about it in terms of like in quantity. You know what I mean? Like, who would you like to be looking at your stuff? Maybe it's still a music executive, you know, but just think about your general audience, who you would want your general audience to be. Okay, so let's drop them in the chat. We won't have time to really go through them all, but I am curious about everybody's personas.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about mine because, I don't really, there isn't like a really specific group of people that, or a specific person that I would want to see my stuff. It's just a lot of people. So they could range from, music to art to film.
It can be anything, I would say don't worry too much about it. The most important thing is like, do you want a 70-year-old looking at your stuff? Would that benefit you? Probably not as much as someone our age. So those are the things to keep in mind. And I'll send Corey this presentation once we're done. So you don't have to figure it out all now. Like this, someone literally hired me to do this persona, So that's to say that it's not something that's definite. It's just something to keep in mind,
All right.
Awesome. So now I'm going to go on to talk about content pillars. This is a very specific term that really only kind of is used in the social media world. But essentially what a content pillar is the topics you're going to talk about. So on social media, we know that we could really talk about anything we wanted, but a great social media strategy is basically chooses just a few things to talk about, just a few types of content to post about, and essentially uses that to grow their followings. Because essentially humans are creatures of habits. So if they follow you, they kind of want to know what you're going to be talking about, So for instance, if you were a artist, a painter, and you started talking about, I don't know, paper towels. I'm just obviously looking around, or paper towels. Yeah, maybe some of your audience like might be into paper towels, but what they expect from you is your art, and maybe you are an artist who's multifaceted. I'm definitely someone who wears multiple hats. That doesn't mean that it's like a bad thing to talk about multiple things that are, ranging in differences. I just think it's really good to focus on a few. This is a great quote. Social media content is like an upside down pyramid. Before I continue, do you guys know essentially what content is? I think it's really easy for me to use these terms. Content is essentially what you create, what you post on social media. But social media content is an upside down pyramid. So the more focused you are in the beginning, the easier time you'll have growing an audience. And then eventually, as you grow your audience and they know to trust you and they feel that authenticity from you, then you can kind of expand to other subjects. So I always think it's great to focus on just a few subjects if you want a dedicated social media strategy. Now, here are some ideas for content pillars. Now, notice that each of them have three kind of topics. So the bookstore focuses on new releases, independent artists, maybe they highlight independent artists, cozy reading spots in the city, and awesome local coffee shops that they really enjoy. Boom. If you follow this bookstore, you're pretty much going to get one of these 4 things. And that's actually a good thing. Same thing with this birth worker. They could be talking about nutrition, self-love, and yoga. A marketing strategist could focus on posting about entrepreneurship, marketing tips, and mental health. And this can be stuff that happens in the caption, or it can be stuff that you create graphics for. Finally, a fashion creator their pillars could be street style, body positivity, beauty, and mindset. So, if you follow this fashion creator, you're going to get one of these 4 things. So these are always really good. I also want to point out that it's always to diversify. So I've talked a lot about not posting too much of a varied amount of things, but I also think it's good to not just post one singular thing. It's good to have a mix of things so your audience is always on their feet. And maybe some people resonate more. For instance, let's take the marketing strategist, someone who could resonate more with the entrepreneurship but not necessarily need the mental health. But someone might really only be following that person for the mental health and not really care about the entrepreneurship stuff. So, you know, knowing exactly what your content pillars are really helps you be able to kind of provide value for your audience. So how do you figure out what your content pillars are? So I think that it's always good to notice what you like, look at what others you admire are doing over a certain period of time. So maybe, you know, right now you're like, okay, I don't have an Instagram right now, or I don't really want to like change my Instagram into a business Instagram right now. That doesn't mean that you need to stop working. That doesn't mean that your work is done. I would say half of the work isn't in just what you post. It's about planning what you post. So for me, I'm always using the save tool on Instagram, the little flag on the bottom. Or, you know, this could be on any social media. Start collecting what you like. If you're like, oh, I really like this person's post. I don't know why, but I like it. Save it and do it for later. And also look to what other people are doing. Again, like, you don't have to do exactly what a giant artist is doing that has an entire team working on their stuff. But that local Philly artist that you know is consistent and that you can really get down with, look at what they're doing and take from them. I think that it's easy to create a document. One thing to do that really helps is creating a document with different sections for your content pillars. I'm going to give you a suggestion for a tool that, like, if you really want to start like posting every day, there's a great tool that helps you do that. But, you know, if maybe you don't want to do it over a period of time, but maybe one day, once a month, you're like, okay, I know that I want to start posting about fashion. So every first Tuesday of the month, I'm going to sit down at my laptop and spend 2 hours researching on fashion, maybe planning out my own photo shoots, but also reposting, collecting content, as we say, to repost for, like, you know, other things. I think the most important thing I want to highlight is that it's a strategy, it's a game, it's something you plan. So I think people, because we scroll kind of aimlessly and we engage with social media kind of aimlessly, we assume that people who are doing really well on social media are doing the same. But trust me, people who are doing really well on social media are planning it out. And that's the best thing you can do. It also really helps you mentally. I personally am trying to reduce my social media intake dramatically. I'm, you know, one day I want to own a flip phone, but that's neither here nor there. But I think it's also, I'm trying to reduce my social media, and people wouldn't necessarily know that because my business is on social media, but I plan it out. I decide what I want to post. And then as soon as I'm done posting it, I get off the internet. So that's always really helpful. Again, I said this before, but look at your own analytics, see what's working. If you've noticed that you got 200 likes on this post and only 50 likes on this post, maybe your audience is trying to tell you what they want. And again, like I said, every post doesn't need a slap, but, you know, if you're noticing a pattern, those are good, because then you can start giving your audience that. So, oh, did anyone have any questions about this slide or the last two slides, content pillars? We're still talking about it, but I just want to take a second to ask.
Oh yeah, me. Yeah. So, on my like personal thing, I know I really shouldn't care about how many followers I have. I don't know. A small part of me does, and then I'm just like, why do I care? It's just like the number of followers that I get. It's like it goes up and then it goes down. It goes up and then it comes down.
I would say, look, the followers, to me, so you care because it's designed to make you care. Literally, there are scientists in Instagram's laboratories right now thinking, how can I get you hooked and how can I get you to care? So don't put a lot of pressure on yourself because you care. It's just like how you might like that top 40 radio hit. Know that it was designed for you to care. So don't put that pressure on yourself. It's okay. We all care. Even if someone says they don't care, the reason they told you that they don't care is because they care. So that's number one. Number two, I used to also be stressed about that. And I think that followers can be great because it helps you gain a community. But trust me, when you're consistent, when you're putting out great content, when you're putting out value, people will come. And it might not be in the timeline that you expect for yourself, but it will be in a timeline. And I think adapting is a part of that too. So if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you might notice that you're seeing the same results. But I would say that's a whole separate presentation. But just know, like, you know, focus on you and the followers will come.
For real. Yes.
Okay.
We have to have you back there.
I'm a social media expert that says just anti-social media stuff.
No, I feel you, because I struggle with that too, Chris, and we'll talk about that more.
Yeah, because I just like sometimes I post, you know, a bunch of like quotes or something, or just
relatable,
you know, a bunch of stuff of me, you know, just I'm just yeah, it's just I think the whole point is just me and just being myself.
Yeah, just do you, yo.
On yourself first.
Yeah, exactly. And the people who follow you are the people who, like I said, you don't need a ton of followers. You just need people who care, you know,
those are the best
who are
pages,
excited to see their posts.
The best page is the one where it's like, you know, this is the person, they care more about themselves than everybody else think, and everybody else has come along with them.
That part. And people smell authenticity. People know when something's authentic and when something's fake. So just be real. And people will like come. And there's math to it. It's a game. I'm not gonna make it seem like just because you like keep it real, you're gonna get 100,000 followers. It's really a game, but that's also the thing. It's like, if you wanted to play the game, if you wanted to put 20 hours a week into playing the game and working the algorithm, you could do that. That's a separate presentation, but you could do that. It's just like, is it worth 20 hours a week? You know, for some people it is, because some people make money off of social media, but for you, it might not be worth it. You know, it's an ROI thing. I don't want to say it's easy to get social media followers, but you can be at any point, and if you know how to play the game, you can get social media followers. So I forgot what I was saying in the presentation, because I really mean that. But I also want to say, you don't have to create all of your content. A lot of things that people do is what we call curation. Curation is basically when you find somebody else's content, give them due credit, and post it on your page. So a great example of that is this Instagram called We the Urban. So half of their content is curated. So it's content that somebody else created. Half of their content is creative. So all of the kind of squares where it's like words and stuff like that, that's the content that they created for themselves. This other content that's kind of like these really artistic photos and maybe even videos, that's their curated content. So somebody else created it and then you reposted it. So when you know what your content pillars are, you can then start curating content, saying like, oh, this kind of aligns with my brand, and I think my audience would really resonate with it. Let me repost it. So that, I just wanted to point out the difference between the two. We're gonna take another 5 minutes and think about 3 content pillars that you think your brand or a brand you admire might want to begin utilizing. Like, you might want to begin utilizing. So if you are a artist, what kind of content pillar do you think you'll want to be using? So again, this could be anything from like behind the scenes. It could be just you like what we call more editorial stuff, which is basically if you do a photo shoot and you post that, that's more editorial because that's like a planned. It could be things called there's so many different types. So think about 3 things. If it might help you, if you don't want to use the phrase content pillars, topics is a great way to just replace that phrase with topics. So 3 topics that you think the brand that you have in mind might want to begin utilizing. So just start throwing them in the chat. We'll stop this at 4:05. I want to give you guys enough time to ask questions. So that's why I'm trying to like speed through this. That kind of took too long.
That was cool. And if you have a hard stop, that's a hard stop.
No.
So it's all good. But yeah.
Yeah. We're good on my end. I just feel,
cool. You out there,
I'm still not good at like figuring out how much like time is enough time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's throw some of your content pillars in the chat. And I lost the chat. Where'd it go? Oh, nice. Okay, you guys have been doing that. Perfect. This looks awesome. Music, digital art, and fashion. I love that. Artist appreciation and lifestyle. I like that too. That's super cool. So all of that, these are all great content pillars. So does anybody have any questions about content pillars specifically, or? Cool. All right, so we're moving on to the last point. So own who you are. I think this was probably the biggest thing for me, that basically I was getting in the way of myself in terms of getting business because I didn't own who I was on social media. So when I say that, I mean, you should really think of your Instagram, your social media, your website, really anything you put on online as a digital business card, especially if you, honestly in general, but especially if you want to use social media for business. So you want to tell people right off the bat who you are, what they can get from you, what they can expect from you, all these things. And it sounds like a lot to put into a short thing, but you can do that as in a simple, easy way. And that's like literally by changing your Instagram bio. I like to tell people I like to tell my clients or tell my students, tell them exactly what you want them to think of you. Tell them exactly what you want them to do. A lot of the times we think it's up to the audience member to fill in those gaps, but really you should just tell them. If you want to be getting more, if you want to work with more artists, tell them. If you want them to listen to your new single, tell them. I think it's so simple, but we really do forget to do those things because either we're trying to be humble or we're trying to it seems forceful or those things. But every business on Instagram is yelling at you for some reason or another. So people are used to it. So, I think we do this by speaking directly to our target audience. We do this by making our brand stand out. And we also do this by adding a little bit of personality. So I always encourage people to redo their Instagram bio. So we're going to look at each part of the Instagram bio section. And of course, you can apply this to Twitter. You can apply this to really any online presence. You can expand or shorten based upon what you have available, what resources you have available. But these are some things right off the bat that you can do to help kind of boost your visibility on Instagram. So one, in the name field of your Instagram, so not your exact bio, but in your name field where you put your name, you get the opportunity to change that every 2 weeks. So I would encourage you to do that. So my name field has my name, Debora, and then I have a vertical bar, and I write right then and there content strategist. And if I could think of one singular action that literally changed my business, that would probably one of many, but that one definitely, as soon as I told people I was a content strategist, guess what happened? I started getting content strategy work. In addition to that, Instagram's changing up their kind of interface. So you can begin to search within the toolbar. So in the past, you could only search hashtags, you could only search usernames, but now you could kind of search ideas. So if someone's looking for a Philly artist, they can go to Instagram, type in Philly artist, and then whatever Instagram profiles that have that in the name will show up. So that's just a really good way to just let people know off the rip. It also is let's say they're not even being able to see your bio. Maybe they don't even make it as far as your profile. Maybe they don't even make it as far as that subsection, and they only see your name because for some reason or another, they'll know okay, this is Debora, she's a content strategist, and they don't even need to see the rest of your profile to know who you are. It's just, if you get the opportunity to capture people's attention from the jump, from the very second that they interact with your page, I just think that's the best thing to do. So consider, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, consider changing your name to your artist name, and then right afterwards, put, R&B musician, Philly-based R&B musician. It doesn't need to be super long, or literally just musician will make all the difference. The second thing is writing a really, I wanted to point out this woman, her name is Erica. She doesn't even have her name. She just literally has Instagram Strategist. So when people search Instagram Strategist, her profile is probably the first thing that comes up. And people, something I want to say, this is actually the theme of the presentation is don't underestimate how dumb people are. So that's why I really want to push, tell people exactly what you want them to do. So, I say that in the sense that when people are looking for a producer, people will literally, you may not go to Instagram and type in producer, but trust me, there are people in this world who will go to Instagram and just type in producer to find a producer. So you just want to be prepared for any opportunity. The second thing is to use your Instagram bio. I know it's cute and sexy to just have like a Bryson Tiller quote in your Instagram bio or something, but that's not going to get you the customers you want. You want to actually they don't want to know you're a sad boy. So I think a really good Instagram bio is usually a couple of bullet points. It might have a little bit of your personality in there. I love to throw a couple of emojis in there just to switch it up a little bit. But with that, people will understand exactly what you and your business are about. So take this one again. This is a co-working space. Working alone sucks. Right off the bat, just those 3 words. First of all, we know that they're a fun co-working space, and we know that it has to do with co-working. Let's make it sweeter. So this is pretty much them just kind of letting you know what they're about. And then they say exactly what they do. We help small businesses feel less alone. Say exactly what you do. If you're a producer, say, I make lo-fi beats that capture ears, I do this, I do that. Spell again, don't underestimate how dumb people are, just spell it out for people. So that's always really great. And also if you throw some emojis in there, throw your personality in there, maybe there's a hashtag that you really want people to use, put that in there. If you have any other accounts, maybe you have, this is your musician account and you want to put your personal account in there, or you want to put your photography account in there, that's totally fine. I would say just put all the information that people need to know about you right in your Instagram bio. The other thing is add a call to action. So a call to action is this phrase that basically we use a lot in the industry, but really it's just telling people what to do. So you've told people what your job is, right? You've changed your name. So you've told people who you are, right? You tell people, exactly what you do, either what you can do for them or what you generally do. And then the third thing is to tell them what they should do. So, it's all well and good if someone goes to your Instagram, that's nice, but what does that do for you? Now, maybe you want them to go on your website, that does something for you. Maybe you want them to follow you, that does something for you. But you also have to remind them, it's more than just telling them what to do. Again, that value proposition has to come in as well. So what are you giving them if they do this for you? This person has wrote that they're giving away a free principle. If you click on this link below, you're gonna get something that's gonna help you out. So think about that. Maybe you're a musician and you want someone to listen to your single, maybe that's enough. You say, listen to my lead single below. Something I also wanna note is that the call to action is really important because you only get one link in Instagram. So what do you wanna do with that one link in Instagram? And I'm gonna give you a resource, but that kind of helps you get around that. But think about it, what do you want them, why do you want them to click that sync? You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. I've been talking for too long, they're gonna kick me off. But you only get one chance for real. So what do you want them to do with that one chance? That really makes a difference. So we're gonna take another 5 minutes and I want you to take some time to write a new Instagram name for yourself and a quick bio. Again, this bio, I would say it could be 2 sentences long and should end in a call to action. So write an Instagram name for yourself and a bio, a 2 to 3 sentence bio for yourself. It could be points or one long bio, and then a call to action. So let's say at 5:20, we'll come back.
I need help with getting to the chat so I can write something down. Like I can only view the chat when somebody texts, and I quickly tap what they wrote, and then I can type. But like I just been listening this whole time though.
I wish I knew how Zoom worked. Can someone help?
Yeah, I got you, bro. So look, just touch the screen real quick and see what pops up. Is there like 3 dots on the bottom right hand?
Yes.
Cool. Click that.
Raise hand.
Oh, there you go.
See, I wasn't using my brain.
Nah, man, you just needed me to help you. That's all. And now we got it, so we good.
We rarely see what's in front of us, like for real. It's incredible.
You write this in the chat, right?
Yep, just throw it in the chat.
All right. This is tough.
It's hard. And again, these are all 5 minutes isn't enough time. I honestly made a 3-hour long presentation. So this really isn't enough time, but this is great. Oh, I like, shoot me a DM and I'll shout you out. Okay, I like that. I never even thought of that. Yo, that's good.
Honestly, when I like do these like my accounts and stuff, I just don't put my name and leave it at that. I used to never have a bio.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be like that too, but then I realized I got more money when I put a bio, so I would rather have the money. I used to be like, I don't want to put myself out there. Like people know who I am.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, because like because we live in we are the main character in our own universe. And we think other people know what we do and who we are and how we move and what we offer. When in reality, folks don't know me. They don't know who I am.
Yeah, for real.
So you gotta tell them, like you're saying, folks are dumb. So you gotta tell them who you are and what you want.
Exactly. And you'd be shocked how many times you pop up, and they only, the way Instagram works is that like they're gonna push your account to people who might want similar accounts. So, you really want to just take advantage of that, because people might not go as far as to click on your profile if they just see your name. But if they see your name and something else, they'll probably take it a step further and go on your profile. So you just want to, like, you know, don't assume that people aren't coming in contact with your profile, because probably hundreds, even if you have 300 followers, there's probably hundreds of people who come in contact with your profile that you're not, you know, taking advantage of in the moment, you know?
I just have my bio.
All right, I like that.
Link right to the account.
Put a link, you know, but what do they get? I know it's a Twitch link, but you could be a Twitch and a DJ. You could be a Twitch and a gamer, a Twitcher and a gamer. You could be a Twitcher and an ASMR salmon eater. You know what I mean? So when you put a link, tell them exactly what they're going to get at the link. Because I also don't click links, you know, unless I know what's going to be on the other side. Because I don't want my identity stolen again. No, I'm joking. I never got it stolen, but you know what I mean. Check out my latest music below. Boom, right there. Simple and straight to the point.
They've been sleeping on the pony.
Yeah, for sure. They're about to wake up.
Let him know.
All right. I think we're good on that. So I'm going to just go. This is the last page I have. It is the resources page. So basically, I just want to give you guys a couple of resources that you can use. All of these are free. You know, they're at least free to start off with. And, you know, these are all resources that even I use, you know? So I know that some of you guys might not have a website, but you might have links that you want people to go to. Like, for instance, if you're an artist, you might have a Spotify link, a Tidal link, an Apple Music link, and a SoundCloud link. What's really helpful are these two apps, Milkshake and Linktree. I like Milkshake. I've seen more people using Milkshake a little bit more because you can personalize it. But also, if you just want something simple that you can just throw in your Instagram bio, use Linktree. But basically, these are essentially these websites that create simple landing pages. So it's just a singular link that creates a landing page of whatever might be, like whatever you think might be relevant for your audience. So for instance, again, if you are a designer, you might have a link to your website. Some people put their actual website in their link tree, and then another link to, you know, a recent article about you. You know, it's just a great way to organize your stuff, and, you know, so that way you don't have to always keep changing your Instagram bio. You can keep all relevant links into this one Milkshake or Linktree. So definitely would recommend that. That's free 99. Canva is really, really a great resource. I owe my life to Canva. I owe my career to Canva. Like, it really is just like this free tool where it has designed graphics of flyers, Instagram stories, all these things, and you literally can just replace your information with it. And if you want, if you're into certain colors, you can change the colors. If you want to put your own pictures into it, you can. And it's pretty much free to use, which is really incredible, because you can pretty much make yourself into, not into a graphic designer, but if you don't have a graphic designer, this is a great, like, you know, middle ground place. And then if you are at the point where you think you're going to be posting even 2 to 3 times a week, and you want to plan out your posts in advance, I personally use Trello. So Trello is a project management system, which is basically a system you use to organize stuff. And the reason why I like Trello a lot is that it's very visual. So you can take the photo of what you want to post, put it into Trello, and then write a caption into it and know that you have that planned. You know, I plan my post out for my clients literally a month in advance, and I use Trello to organize it. What's really nice about Trello is that the way it kind of works is that you can have pillars. So I literally use that for content pillars. So let's say I know I want to have one of my content pillars be repost of art. I can literally start collecting, even if I know that I'm not going to post it anytime this week or anytime soon, I can start throwing things in the Trello and then utilizing them for future use. And what's cool is that you can also add due dates to them and see it in a calendar form, which allows you to kind of see what's on the pipeline and stuff like that. So those are just 3 really dope tools. If I could recommend anything that I think all of you guys could benefit from using the Milkshake tool, especially if you don't have a website, Canva, that's really dope. Trello, I would say you don't necessarily need to use Trello unless you're planning to start posting. If you're planning on creating your post like weeks in advance, but it's free. So I just decided to throw that in there. So, oh man, I covered a lot, which was really helpful for me to know that this is a lot of content for one presentation. But it was fun for me to do. So I'm really happy about it. Do you guys have any questions about really anything social media related or anything that we've talked about today?
I don't got no questions, but I was going to say thank you. It's a good presentation. I learned a lot, I could say.
It really, thank you. That means a lot to me. If I could leave you guys with anything, and I said this before, but social media is really a game, and you could learn how to play it, but most of the time it's just easier to learn simple tricks. And I would love to just this is something that really means a lot to me, is to empower people to learn how to play this game, because I'm going to go on a little rant, but they are making money off of us. Facebook is making money off of us. Instagram's making money off of us. So we need to learn how to make money off of them, because at the end of the day, social media is a part of life, whether you have one or not. The person next to you has one. So how can we learn how to utilize it, play their game, so we can, benefit from it. So that's all about, so it truly is a pleasure to be able to do this.
Thank you. And also, I have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
If you've been on social media for the past 7 years and you're still using the same account, is it best to move on from that old account?
That's a really good question, I don't think it's impossible to change it. I don't think it's impossible to change. Some people, it depends on where you're at. It really depends on where you're at. If you have an audience that's engaged with you and really is into what you're saying, and when I say engaged, I mean look at it. Engagement is essentially a fractions game, simply. So let's say you have 5,000 followers and you only have 30 likes on your stuff. That means that Instagram has stopped sharing your stuff to at least 4,000 of your followers. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, if you feel like your engagement is drastically low, then I would say restart. But otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily recommend restarting, because it really is hard to start from zero. It has to really be worth it for you to want to start from zero. I think instead of starting from zero, and again, this is a different conversation, instead of starting from zero, seek out your audience, engage with them, leave comments on their posts, or maybe your current audience, start leaving comments on their posts, start liking their posts, start DMing them when they do share your stuff, and to just tell them thank you and build that engagement up. Yeah, that's awesome. And is
I engage
nice
a lot.
DMs us? Yeah. It is nice when someone DMs us, but it's also nice when when regular people DM us just to show their appreciation.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, if you were my client, I would restart completely new Instagram would be an absolute last resort, I would say. Okay. But I watch a lot of Instagram videos of people who are I'm just going to see how much followers I can get in a month just for fun. Starting at zero. And people really be like I said, it is a game. So you literally could get 100,000 followers in a month if you wanted to play that game. Is it worth it? Probably not. But I would recommend, if, I don't know where you're at in your engagement, but I would only recommend that if your engagement was really low, and other methods of trying to increase that engagement, including changing your content and engaging with your audience. If those wouldn't work, then I would recommend it, but otherwise I wouldn't really.
Okay. Well, thank you.
But that's a great question, because that shows the mindset you're at a really great mindset.
Yeah, thank you for the advice as well.
If you do decide to make a new account upon it, you should probably shout it out on your account now, get your dedicated followers on your new one too.
True. Okay, definitely. Okay.
Yeah, you can bring them over too. Sometimes you might want to, let's say you're a musician and you want to have a separate account for your photography. Yeah, bring your old followers over too. Get them to follow you.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Yeah. Well, it's not really a question. It's more of a comment. I only get like every post that I do. I only get like a few likes. Okay.
Yeah. So I would say
really
just
care.
think about think about your favorite accounts and the value they provide you, and then start emulating that. But again, like I said, it doesn't matter. It really, like, I mean, it matters in the sense, like, if you want to get business, but just do you. Like, at the end of the day, it's your Instagram. Just do you. And there's a niche for everyone. There's literally, the internet has provided that for us. So that way, if you're really interested in specific things, there's a community for you. So maybe think about the specific communities you're into, or maybe one day someone who's in your specific community will stumble on your account and like it. But I wouldn't stress too much about likes and followers. And also, likes are kind of become the least important thing on Instagram too. So just do you, but do you smartly. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Definitely.
Cool. Thank you so much, Deb. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
round
of
of
course.
applause. Thank
Yay.
you
I'm
so
going to
much.
take all this information and apply it. For
Yay,
sure.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, if you guys have any, I meant to put, so I will put my website in the chat, but if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me on here. This was an absolute pleasure. And I really I'm going to send the presentation to Corey so that way he has it as well and he can send it to you guys. But thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
All right. See ya.
Peace. Enjoy.
I wanted to ask, Corey, don't kill me for this, okay? But I wanted to ask if you can use milkshake to bring the girls to the yard.
On that note, have a beautiful evening.
No.
I'm sorry. I had to get that out. I'm sorry.
All right, Kelvin.
Ruin everybody's evening.
Bye.
All right, Kelvin. Goodbye.
Peace, y'all.
All right.
Peace.